So I was doom scrolling through YouTube the other day, and the all-knowing algorithm recommended some so-called tool restoration videos. That sounded interesting, so I started watching a couple of different ones, and the basic script was just these guys are making videos where they go to swap meets or garage sales, they find vintage hand tools that are dirty, rusty, or just basically show the signs of a half century of use, and then they restore them. And by restore, I mean destroy them with wire wheels and angle grinders, then polish them, they paint them up, and they pat themselves on the back about how great they look now. Never mind the decades of history and honest wear being erased right down to grinding off the machining marks that the tools had when they were brand new. And these guys would probably throw a bucket of Indian head pennies into a case tumbler to shine them up all nice and pretty too. Anyway, at least that gave me the idea for this video. Now, for as long as there have been threaded fasteners made out of metal, there have been tools designed specifically to tighten and remove them without damaging them. And there's also been tools used in a pinch when the person doing the work didn't have the right one for the job for whatever reason, leading to rounded off nuts and bolts. Currently, the go-to tool for both destroying fasteners and removing ones that have been previously destroyed is the classic locking jaw pliers. Now, these are commonly known by the trademark name in the original, the vise-grip. In the UK, because they have to have a different name for everything, they're often known as mole grip pliers, which is another trademark name. The basic operating mechanism was patented by Nebraska's own William S. Peterson in 1924, but Peterson Manufacturing didn't actually start making the original vice grip until 1934. The definitive WR model with a flat section at the nose, curved main jaws, and a wire cutter debuted in 1957. Irwin Tool was acquired by Peterson in the early 90s, so this CR model, which is still marked with their logo, is probably made before that, while the WR that's marked with the Irwin name is newer. Of course, the patent on the mechanism lapsed long ago, so there's countless locking jaw pliers of various levels of quality manufactured by a bunch of different companies. The designs are endless because they're useful for a lot of different tasks besides just rounding off stuck fasteners. For instance, they're especially efficient at transmitting welding heat to your hand, so they make great sheet metal clamps for fabricators. Long before 1934, though, people still desperately wanted to use the wrong tool for the job, and all the way back in 1892, Swedish inventor Johann Peter Johansson patented the modern adjustable wrench. Now, in the US, it's often known by the trademarked name crescent wrench, and of course, in the UK, it's an adjustable spanner, because, like I say, they got to call everything something different. Now again, depending on how well it's manufactured, an adjustable wrench will range from precise enough to be a pain in the ass to use because you have to line it up just right, to sloppy enough to be a useful tool, but very likely to slip, rounding off the corners of the nut and bolt and slamming your hand with all your strength against something hard and sharp. You can get them in an amazing range of different sizes too, from really tiny all the way up to giant hobo killers. And you'll notice on this little 6-inch model, there's arrows on both sides that show you which direction to apply torque to keep from breaking the movable jaw portion. We have to go even farther back in time to the midst of the Industrial Revolution to find some of the earliest examples of fastener rounding technology, though. This wrench was part of a toolkit that came with my dad's 1967 Volvo 122S. And then on one end it's got the familiar adjustable wrench, but on the other it has these jaws. One side is serrated, and the other side is flat. Alligator wrenches like this likely date back to 1880 or before. And they were advertised as being suitable for pipe fitters because the sharp hardened teeth could kind of grip round pipe, and being cut on a diagonal, they also had a sort of ratchet action that didn't require removing and repositioning the wrench on every swing. They're also uniquely suitable for fasteners with square instead of hex heads like lag bolts. This wrench was made by the Swedish company Bahco before I was even born, and believe it or not, almost the exact same wrench is made today. Now, except for a couple of detailed changes to the profile of the forging and the hole in the handle and the laser engraved scale on the jaws, this one I just bought is identical to the one that's a half-century old. Now, since Bahco is owned by Snap-on these days, it's a little spendy, but it's nice to see that the quality and precision of the manufacturing hasn't really changed in 50-plus years. If you go on Amazon, which is where I got my new one, and I'll leave a link in the description in case you want to get one too, you'll see that there's a bunch of 5-star reviews for this wrench, mostly from marine engineers. It's a tool that they can have with them at all times and does the job well enough to not need to go find the right size open-end wrench out of the tool chest or a real pipe wrench to fix a leak. Now, I definitely won't be restoring my dad's old wrench. A simple non-destructive cleaning will take care of the surface rust on here, and a little sewing machine oil on the screw mechanism will get it working like new again. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this brief history of rounding off fasteners. Thanks for watching. Be sure to visit techweasel.com, and also be sure to check out my other videos on this channel for other topics just as random as this one.